All right, Rick. Coleridge Bernard Stroud the fourth continues to be not only the best rookie quarterback, not only a top 10 quarterback, but let's listen to what our guy Will Anderson had to say about his teammate, CJ.
CJ has the whole package, man. Like I'm telling you, like we'd be so happy on defense. Look at him like, hey, that's our quarterback right there. Like he can zip that thing. Like we got that, we straight. So having CJ here, man, it's a blessing to everybody in this organization, man.
So that's your buddy, Will Anderson Jr. He missed seeing you yesterday, Rick, but he also went on to say that CJ would get his MVP vote right now if he had a vote for that. What do you think about CJ as a legit MVP candidate?
Well, that's the thing. That's if he gets them in the playoffs, I guess my question is not because of the numbers he's throwing up, but why I would consider him MVP candidate is because of how he's won those last two games. And if he continues to come through in a critical situation of the game, because last week he threw that late interception in the fourth quarter and it didn't phase him. It's like he's a 10-year vet that's been through this 100 times. And it's almost like I got this. And it's been very unique that a rookie quarterback with the pressures of the game and his ability on that last drive to pull out two games at the end, that's why, to me, he should be considered an MVP quarterback.
And by the way, you can check out that Will Anderson interview either in the podcast feed or on YouTube. And we talked about DeMeco Ryans. We talked about Nick Saban. We talked about the play that Rick and I talked about last week. I had him break that down where they did the end tackle stunt with Khalil Davis, and he earholed our guy Cody Mock, and they got a big sack late in that game against Tampa Bay 2 weeks ago. Talked about CJ, and then he talked a little bit about Dallas Turner, his former team at Alabama, who's going to be a first-round pick, and he gave us a little scouting report on his former teammate there. So that's fun. Check that out. But in terms of CJ, yeah, we talked about you early. I said Rick had a prior obligation. He is incredibly sorry that he missed you because I know he loves. You know what I told him? I said, Will, Rick loves you more than anyone at Alabama except Bryce Young. You're 1A, Bryce is 1, just so you know. But he was okay with that. But talking about CJ, so the numbers in case you need to be refreshed: 23 of 39 for 356 yards. Had a touchdown, had that interception that Rick talked about late in the game, deep in the no end, that was almost a pick six. The Bengals ended up scoring and tying that game late. But CJ had the rushing touchdown. He did lose 2 fumbles, and he said afterwards he's got to do a better job of that. But he only has 2 interceptions on the season, which is hard to wrap your brain around. Noah Brown continues to be one of the best players in the NFL, sort of refinding himself in Houston after early seasons in Dallas. There was a throw in that game that I'm still trying to figure out. I don't know if the NFL has apologized yet, but he threw the high back 5 back in the end zone to Robert Woods. Robert Woods wasn't out of bounds. They called him out of bounds, didn't reestablish or whatever the rule is, and they took that touchdown away. That was an amazing throw.
Yeah. No, it's incredible what he's doing. And if you're watching on YouTube, I'm sorry, Ryan, I had to.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. I missed that.
And you see Debo put up the odds. CJ Stroud is now plus 2,000.
What does that mean to you?
That means that I'm going to give Debo $1. So if he does win, it's worth the $1 investment. So I can win $2,000 if he does end up being the MVP.
There you go.
Good job.
So he is just behind Joe Burrow. Who's he just ahead of there? Oh, just ahead of Brock Purdy. And the list from top to CJ is Patrick, Jalen, Tua, Lamar, Joe Burrow, and then CJ, which is pretty incredible. I think before, according to our buddy Will Brinson of the Pick Six podcast, before this game against Cincinnati in Week 10, the odds were 40-1. So they are dropping like a rock, Rick. That's plus 4,000. I think that's the math on that. So he is proven to be truly special.
Hey, Debo, can you put $1 on for me, and then I'll split it with you? If we win the plus 2,000, it's 1,000 each. And then I'll take the $1 hit. So that would be
sports gambling not legal out here in La La Land, but when I get back to Pennsylvania, I'll place that bet for you.
Okay.
That definitely means he's been gambling. He just wants to be on record as saying he's not gambling.
Yeah, well, I don't, as you know, I don't know a lot about gambling, although it's hard to tell.
Yeah, it is.
But I did. Someone asked me, "Do you want?" I have a guy. He goes, just bet one $10 bet. So you know what bet I took this week? For
Oh,
$10?
what?
I took the under in the Rutgers Iowa game at 28.
Debo, he went all in. He didn't do a popular. So this guy told you to take the under. Or do you have a sense that they were going to score a few points?
No, he said he says this is crazy. No one is under 28. And I said, take the under. I said I'll put $10 on for me and take the under.
What was the payout? Do you know?
Well, I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to explain to me if I put $10, then I win $10. Then did I actually win anything? I could.
Yeah, that would have been, even -110 odds, Ryan. It was just
Right, okay.
that was the actual total on the game, and I believe 22-0 was the final score on that one.
Oh, you won that one. Holy moly.
Yeah, so apparently I didn't win anything because I said I bet $10 and I won $10.
You get $10 back. You get 10 plus 10.
So I get what?
20. You bet 10 to win 20. You doubled your money.
Okay. What happened to $10? Like, so if I gave the guy $10, does he give me a $20 bill back?
In your internet account, yes. I don't think he comes to your house and hands you a $20 bill. Is that right, Debo? That sounds right?
Yes, for the purposes of this conversation, that's correct.
It's like we're trying to explain rocket science to a toddler. Yeah, sure. The rocket goes up, it comes down.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, CJ is the easy one for me here. I don't think you would have any pushback. I mean, I don't even want to ask this stupid question. The turnovers happen. It's part of the NFL. There's no concerns there with you don't want him to throw that interception late. The fumbles I get, but it's hard to be upset with what he's doing, right?
No.
Yeah.
I would bench him according to you.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Bench him. I don't even know who the backup is there now. I can't remember. Whoever it is, he should be playing. That's all I'm saying. Oh, Case. Your guy Case. Good thing they didn't take my advice, the Vikings, and trade for him.
Yeah. How about not that we're on this podcast, but just a real quick nugget is, and I was just on another show.
The man who never sleeps.
If with the news coming out on Deshaun Watson today.
Okay, yes. Let's talk about. Let's give some background. What is the exact injury? I didn't see it. I just saw the headline.
Well, apparently he had a high ankle sprain in that game, and he had, I think, a fracture in his scapula, which is a new injury in his throwing shoulder. So,
jeez. Okay, so that's serious.
Yeah, and I'm just reading quick stuff quickly here, but he's done for the year. Now, with that defense that they play with, they already lost Nick Chubb. They're going to have to play great defense and run the ball and control the clock. Maybe not this week because they're playing the Steelers. And the Steelers stink on offense.
How dare you?
Well, I shouldn't say stink. They're not very good.
They stink, but go ahead.
But here is this question, and Mike Tannenbaum brought this up. What if Cleveland did not trade Josh Dobbs before the season? He would be their starting quarterback. Would you feel a lot better in Cleveland right now?
Oh, of course.
PJ Walker.
So PJ Walker, or there's some conversation that our guy Dorian Thompson-Robinson might get another start. They might go back to him after he had a tough go of it in his debut as a rookie regular season game against the Ravens, I believe. He looked good in the preseason. We talked about him there. But the answer is Josh Dobbs. And here, I'll take it a step further. As a Steelers fan, I'm thinking maybe the Steelers should have kept Josh Dobbs because
maybe the Titans, maybe wherever he's been traveling.
Yeah, Arizona I get on some level because Kyler was going to play. But yeah, absolutely. All right. I asked our buddy Will Anderson Jr. about Bryce, and he basically said the same thing you've said all along, that there's no one tougher mentally. He'll get through this. You have to be patient because things are going terribly for him and that organization. But, as I like to do, go back and watch all the throws of these rookies. And I'll just say this, and I'm going to be a broken record about this, and you can say that I'm a homer. I don't care. If you want to say Bryce is terrible and the Panthers made a huge mistake, I would encourage you to go back, pick any game, and at the top of Bryce's drop, hit pause, and then show me who is open. Just do that. Because as I said before, all they're running is they run all stick about 95% of the time, where just the receivers go to the sticks and turn around. They're always covered. They don't have anyone to stretch the field. Michael Strawn, who was with Frank Reich in Indy, and he's a small school guy. He can run, though. The only explosive play they had was when he ran a little seam or corner, whatever it was, and Bryce hit him. Perfect throw.
Right.
And that's it. They have no one else that can get open consistently down the field. Adam Thielen is the guy that you throw the ball to 10 yards and closer to the line of scrimmage, and he's good at that, but he ain't stretching defenses. So I thought Bryce played better. He didn't play great.
No, a couple of those throws were frustrating to watch that he missed, like the one play action, because they don't, we've talked about this.
That's true. That first over he missed, you're right.
Yeah, but they play actioned him to the left.
Yeah.
Play actioned him to the right. He's a right-handed quarterback.
He's got it. You're right, though. He's got to make that throw. That's a terrible miss.
Yep.
Fair enough. That's right. But again, I think he's doing the best with what he has. He's the best athlete on that team, which is not what you want, but he wins consistently with his legs, and you don't want him taking hits, but here we are. I think things are going to work themselves out. Maybe not this season, almost certainly not this season. We saw Ken Dorsey get fired yesterday for the Buffalo Bills, which is quite a development when you look at how that offense has actually been pretty good. The defense has been the problem. But I think that Bryce, I think he's just got to suck it up and deal with this, and hopefully they can figure things out in the offseason. But
as I used to say, this too shall pass.
The only question is who's going to be around once it passes, right?
Right. Well, Bryce will be around.
So, all right, I did my little angry rant about Bryce Young and standing up for him. Do you have anything to add in terms of the actual game? Because I thought he did some things that were encouraging, but again, frustrating.
Yeah, it's frustrating to watch this offense. I did think he missed some throws, but then when you're getting whacked so many times, it's hard to stay patient in the pocket. He's doing a better job. I mean, he tries to get the ball out of his hands quick now, trying to anticipate where the receivers are going to be. But me and you are Bryce Young defenders. Other people will rip us for defending him, but be patient. This will all pass in due time.
All right. Yeah. I mean, it's frustrating. I'm sure he's not happy about it. But Will Anderson did say, he says the bad thing happens. All that means is that Bryce is going to work harder. So at least take solace in the fact, Panthers fans, that Bryce is not going to give up. And I don't know if that makes you feel any better now, but it is what it is. Okay, let's go to another young quarterback who somehow actually gets hit more often than Bryce Young in his short stint on the field in terms of being a starter. He made his second start, third appearance, third start? Okay, third start. So Will Levis, of course, and played against Tampa Bay, and that team could not muster any offense, and it wasn't all Will Levis's fault because, as has been the case the two previous times he's on the field, he's dropping back, he's getting hit in the face consistently. His arm strength is fun to watch because he can throw any pass from any arm angle from anywhere that his feet are set. I think we're starting to see some of the things that we had questions about last year in terms of forcing the ball into situations where he either seems frustrated and is trying to make something happen, or he's not seeing what he should be seeing. But he's a rookie. It wasn't terrible. I think it's something you can build on. And again, just like the Carolina Panthers, this offense has a ton of questions and people can't get open down the field.
It's enough flashes on some good throws that keep you intrigued.
Yeah.
But I thought there could have been 3 more interceptions this game, because when he unleashes the beast of an arm that he has, that ball careens everywhere. It's like watching a Debo won't know this. Remember when there was a pinball, when a ball come down?
Yeah, and it gets caught up in the little bumper things.
Yeah, and they just pop all around. That ball's flying everywhere because it's careening off of receivers' hands, DB's hands. It's the thing we talked about was the touch. But teams after that first game, teams are putting some safeties behind them right now, and that I will call like a cover 2, so they're not getting the same looks on deep throws as they did in that first game. I believe it was against Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're trying to take away some of those deep throws because they really don't have anyone to stretch the field.
No.
And now they're making him play quarterback from the pocket, and now you're seeing a rookie trying to play quarterback from the pocket and getting hit a lot. I mean, Vita Vea, when he came through, Dillard is at their left tackle. That was kind of hard to watch. That
Debo's guy, Andre Dillard, who the knock on him was he couldn't
anchor,
and
still can't.
You mentioned the pinball effect. Sometimes the Chigaquanquo got hit in the hands in the end zone on one of those throws.
Yeah.
Is that on Will? Because I feel like Chick has to catch that ball.
No, they have to catch the ball, but they gotta know that this dude has a rocket for an arm and it's coming. I mean, it's
Exactly.
coming.
Because he had to squeeze between two defenders who were on each side of
It was
Chick.
a good throw, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying those balls, there were 2 or 3 of them in this game that could have been intercepted very easily beside the one when they threw it up for grabs when he got hit.
Right. Okay. I'm going to ask this quickly since we're sort of talking about strong arm quarterbacks who aren't always getting helped. It reminded me of the Josh Allen, the first interception on Monday night that went through Gabe Davis's hands that was in fact intercepted, and then subsequently, 12 hours later, 18 hours later, Ken Dorsey got fired. I just want to ask you specifically, like, how does that conversation happen when Rick Spiel's the general manager? Does the coach come to you and say, I need to fire this guy? Are you saying we got to fire this guy? Like, how does that come about?
It's all, to me, it's the head coach's decision. He puts his staff together. I only had one experience. I experienced that when Mike Zimmer fired John DeFilippo in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
So coach came in and talked to me and said that was his decision, let the ownership know. And then Pat Shurmur became the offensive coordinator after that. So, but yeah, that is those are all head coaching decisions. And usually you have a meeting with the general manager, the ownership, head coaches explaining why we need to go. In Buffalo, if you want to call them in this proverbial Super Bowl window, the change Sean McDermott felt had to be made. And Joe Brady now will be the new offensive coordinator. And it's going to be tough sledding this week because they're going against a very good Jets defense. So,
and a team that Josh Allen can't beat.
So you don't just throw out the playbook and just say, okay, here's a new 250,000 page playbook. Start studying it. We got to play. You got to use this. They'll take the scheme and make some adjustments accordingly onto what Joe thinks need to be made. And so it'll be interesting to watch that game now with a new offensive coordinator. And if you see a different result, it just looks like, I don't want to call it painful, but there's just no rhythm. It just seems forced when you watch the Buffalo Bills right now.
It's a weird thing to see James Cook get benched after the first fumble. I would imagine they benched him on purpose because when he came back late second quarter, early third quarter, he was the best player on the field. And it just makes you think.
And then he fumbled again.
But he caught that one. So that's okay. Would it ever be a situation where the coach wants to fire an assistant and you might say, let's not do it? Or are you just going to?
No, I'm always going to defer to the coach because, but the one thing, they're still going to get paid.
Right. You do have to consider that because.
Yeah. So those are the things that you talk through the ownership with. But where Buffalo is a football team right now, and, when does this window close? It may not for a while just because they have Josh Allen. But if they want to make a run this year, it was a decision that Sean McDermott thought needed to be made.
All right. Fun fact, Sean McDermott and Joe Brady both went to college William & Mary.
Is that where you went?
Yeah.
Okay.
I went to school with Sean McDermott.
Yeah, I'm sure he remembers you.
He did the first time when he was the DC at Carolina. The second time he didn't. Once he got big time, he forgot who I was. But hey, I get it. Although I have this memorable face, it's really weird that he didn't remember